Absolute Batman literally bites people. Yes, you heard me right, he bites people. After we saw Bruce make a deal with Black Mask to step down as Batman for a while in exchange for millions upon millions of dollars, the story gives us our first look at Bruce's early days as the Caped Crusader. And trust me when I say this, it's a pretty rough start. Picking up sometime in the past on a rooftop in Gotham City with a posse of gang members trying to intimidate a group of local business owners for not paying up in exchange for their protection. Soon enough, the leader of this gang would try and make an example out of one of these business owners, pushing them off of the building and saying, see, if we don't stay vigilant, things can get real unpredictable real fast. But to his surprise, moments later, the person he pushed off would get flung up back on top for reasons he couldn't explain. So he looked over the edge to try figuring out what was going on, allowing Batman to sneak behind his allies, screech at all of them using a voice distorter, and begin the process of taking them out by slashing them with his mini claws and then biting one of them on their necks with vampire prosthetics. After that, the only one left was the leader, but upon trying to defend himself by blasting Bruce with a hand cannon, Bruce shielded himself with his cape, cracked him in the neck, and then ripped away his gun to point it directly at his face. Before things could escalate any further though, Bruce was forced to make a break for it by jumping off of the building because even more gang members exploded onto the scene, demanding him to drop the weapon. Later on, Bruce realized how tacky and stupid his little gimmicks were. Batman needed to be something bigger and better than that. So he threw away the claws, the vampire fangs, all of it, and started from square one. During this rebuilding phase, he started working out like crazy and building a batsuit that was actually respectable. But even more important than that, he began studying the ins and outs of Gotham City, learning that the Falcones and Maronis were in the process of smuggling massive arsenals of weapons into the city. So he took it upon himself to rig an RC car with a freaking bottle jack, find the trailers that these weapons were being smuggled in, and then drive the RC car under the diesel carrying the trailer to pop it up into the air, causing a bunch of the weapons to go flying out. And of course, when the people driving the diesels tried escaping, he knocked every one of them unconscious. As time went on, Bruce would continue working out and training in an effort to improve upon his athletic and physical capabilities, and in addition to that, he was constantly adding new things to his batsuit, like a new and improved bat symbol, shoulder pads, and retractable bat tendrils. Now, the bat tendrils, as we all know, are inspired by the bridge Bruce made for a school engineering competition. So it's at this point that we go back even further into the past when Bruce started working on the first concept for the bridge. Upon asking his dad if he thought it'd be good enough to win, Thomas wasn't really sure, stating that all that mattered was that Bruce felt it was the best he could do and that it showed what was special about a bat at its core. Confused about what his father meant by that, Bruce asked, how do you know what anything is at its core? So Thomas broke it down for him as best he could, expressing that sometimes it was trial and error. For example, before he was born, all he wanted to be was a heart surgeon because one day when he was a kid, his father dropped dead right in front of him due to a heart attack. But eventually he realized that this desire to be a doctor was really just about wanting to prevent other kids from feeling how he felt that day. And as a teacher, he felt like he could do that, like he could make them feel safe by preparing them for the world. After that, the story takes a sad turn because we're brought to Joe Chill's court hearing for killing Thomas at the zoo. And Chill was prepared to give a statement, but then Bruce requested to speak first, which, as stated by the judge, wasn't really traditional, but given the extraordinary circumstances, he'd let him do it. So with tears rolling down his face, complemented by a super angry expression, Bruce began talking about that day at the zoo, expressing that the best part about it was his dad because he could tell that he was so proud of him for winning this trip for all of his classmates. But now that he was gone, he knew that that was the happiest he'd ever get to be in life. Bruce would then get so angry he started cussing Joe Chill out, telling him that he effing hated him for killing his happiness, so he wasn't gonna stay around and listen to anything he had to say. But then the issue jumps a little bit further into the future with Bruce paying Chill a visit at the prison, and this time he was ready to hear what he had to say that day. Sadly, that's where this issue comes to an end, but if you want to see what happens next with Absolute Batman, let me know in the comments down below.